It's indeed a very emotional event. There's no doubt about that. I requested her to make sure that Pushpa auntie speaks before me because we talk about dogs. I address him as dog. We talk about dogs' courage. We talk about dogs' leadership skills. We talk about dogs' crisis management skills. I firmly believe that it has to be in the genes. That's why I wanted to hear Pushpa auntie before I speak, because I've never got an opportunity to speak to her, to listen to her. And this is a wonderful occasion. She was also thinking while passing by, she was talking and expressing her feelings whether this is a happy occasion or a sad occasion. For me, I feel that this is a very happy occasion because her thought of asking first Das and then Hari to write the book of one of eminent person in Hyderabad cricketing circles, just to inspire the younger generation, itself shows how mentally tough and what character she is made of. While I knew Doc from my cricketing days, but I knew Doc even before that through the family connections we had. So Doc's father, Subhash uncle, and my father's elder brother, Srinivas uncle, were classmates at Usmania Engineering College. And because of that close relationship, Doc's grandfather, who was his role model, who was his inspiration, Gopal Rao Garu, used to visit my uncle's place or my grandfather's place at Barkatpura, and they became spiritual friends. Both of them at length used to discuss about Bhagavad Gita. Gopal Rao Garu was probably one of the eminent engineers, and he was one of the important person in building the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, and then he became an educationist. But he always inspired Doc in the way Doc wanted to lead his life. In fact, I was just coming here and I was speaking to my dad, and Dad was very emotionally, I use this word emotionally quite often because that is what, whenever you're thinking about Doc, you all become. Emotions keep running through you. So my dad also became very emotional, and he mentioned that one of the reasons why Doc was forced to become a doctor was because of my dad. Because whenever Gopal Rao uncle used to come to my grandparents' place at Barkatpura, he used to see my dad, who was a gold medalist at Usmania Medical College, and he was a very successful doctor. Again, very similar to what I saw in Dr. Neeraj's audio-visual from the Usmania Medical College days. My father was very similar to MV Sridhar Doc, in the sense he was the students' union leader, he was in the Usmania Medical College cricket team, he was organizing all the functions, all the get-togethers, and he was a people's man in Usmania Medical College. And that's something which Gopal Rao uncle registered, and he wanted Doc to be not like his father, not an engineer like his father, but like my father. For me, I mentioned in the book also, Doc was a leader, because we always talk about captains. Captains sometimes can be a designated post in a particular match, in a particular series, a particular era. But a leader is someone who always, through his actions, inspires you. So Doc was that leader who touched my life. Right from the first time I met him, that junior zonal match, I was part of the schools, combined schools level. And we went on to play the senior zonals as a combined junior zonal level. And that was the first time I met Doc in person, but I was hearing from my parents about a young middle class Brahmin family boy who was climbing through the ranks to become a first class cricketer, who was breaking all the records while becoming a doctor at Usmania Medical College. And all his stories about his childhood was told to me while I was growing up. But when I first met Doc, what really struck me was his approach to life. Because even in that interaction when we were playing senior zonals, Doc never ever gave an impression that he wanted to take cricket as a career, as a profession. He played cricket because he loved the game. He played cricket, as he mentioned in the audio visual, that there were only 7 or 8 players who were playing for Usmania Medical College, And he being probably the most talented batsman in that college team, he took it on himself to win matches for his college. He played cricket because that's something which gave him something to look forward, where his competitive juices were every day ignited. But when he got an opportunity to play for Hyderabad in Ranji Trophy, and since then, since the time he retired, he never looked back as far as Hyderabad cricket was concerned. Being the highest run getter for Hyderabad, highest 100 maker for Hyderabad, prolific run scorer, 366 is highest individual score. We all remember that. But a leader is that person who touches each and every individual he comes close to. So for me, whatever interaction I had with Doc, the first big interaction I had was in 1992. First time I got selected in the Hyderabad team. We were on our way to Baroda to play the Ranji Trophy quarterfinals, I think. The Ranji Trophy quarterfinals. And we used to go and train in those days. So we were all in the first class compartment. There were some seniors who I always idolized. They were part of their journey. I was in a compartment where Sridhar was sitting in there. And he was disappointed, because he was sharing with his colleagues that he was very, very disappointed, because just before that journey, just before that match against Baroda, the board president's 11 team played against the visiting England side. And he felt that he deserved a chance to play in the playing 11. But unfortunately, he didn't get a chance after scoring tons and tons of runs in domestic cricket. And he was very disappointed. And he shared the disappointment with his close friends. We win that match against Baroda, we go to Punjab, and I make my first class debut, first time playing for Hyderabad. I was waiting for that moment, and I get out for 0. And I still remember in the evening, this was in Ludhiana, in the evening, we were all going out for a meal, for dinner, and Doc came, stood next to me, put his hand over my shoulder, and the words he told was, "Do you know J.R. Vishwanath?" I told, "Yes, Doc, I know J.R. Vishwanath, one of the prolific run getter for Indian cricket team." His first innings when he played for India was also a knot. So take it from me, just like J.R. Vishwanath had a wonderful career for India, take it from me that you will have a wonderful career. And that's something which I will never ever forget. Because he didn't require to do that. He didn't need to do that. But that's the quality of a leader. A leader is the one who doesn't necessarily think about himself. A leader is the one, which Ari rightly mentioned, thinks how he can get the best out of others. And that I will never ever forget. There was one more thing which my father shared this morning. One of the reasons why I didn't pursue my goal of becoming a doctor, because when I was 17, we were all in a dilemma. My entire family was in a dilemma, because I almost got enrolled myself in the Gandhi Medical College, passing the MSET exam. And simultaneously, I was in the standbys of the India under-19 team. I was on verge of playing for Hyderabad in first class cricket. My father went and spoke at length to Doc, because he also faced a similar situation in his life, where he wanted to be pursuing his passion of playing the game cricket, but his grandfather almost forced him to become a doctor, because that is something which was a dream of his grandfather. Doc fulfilled the dream of his grandfather by becoming a doctor, came back and again became a successful cricketer. So when my father asked, what is the suggestion and advice you want to give to Laxman? Can he do both? Can he enroll himself in the medical college? At the same time, can he become a doctor? Because till then, I did well in the junior college. I got through the MSET. So I was good at academics as well. And the advice which Doc gave was, "Uncle, don't do the mistake I did in my life. let Lakshman not repeat the mistake which I did. Because medical profession and to make a career in cricket, you require single-minded focus. And unfortunately, I was not able to show that single-minded focus, and I lost 5 years of my peak time, where if I would have focused only on cricket, then probably I would have played for India by now with the kind of talent I had. And that's the suggestion he gave, advice he gave to my father. The second advice he gave to my father, which my father remembered this morning and told me before I came here, was cricket is a very competitive field. There will be a lot of crocodiles, there will be a lot of sharks in that field. So if Lakshman has to make a career in cricket, he has to be thick-skinned. If Lakshman has to make a career in cricket, he has to be mentally tough. And if Lakshman has to make a career in cricket, then he has to know how to respond to injustice. Because in the game of cricket, or a profession called cricket, it's not necessary that always justice will prevail. And that was so true throughout my career. Because that too timely advice to my father first allowed my father and my mother to give me the freedom to play and pursue cricket. And they kept on reminding me the words of Doc. Whenever I was going through a lean phase, whenever I was out of the, or dropped from the team, they always used to remind me. Remember what Sridhar told? And you told, I'm going to sail over all these challenging situations. I want to play the game of cricket. That is something which you committed when you were 17. So there was no chance for me to brood over my failures or to feel disappointed whenever injustice was made to me. The other incident I remember, the other experience I remember with Doc was in 1994-95 season. Because I made my debut in 1992, played only one game against Punjab, we lost that season. The next season I played one more game against Kerala. Cannot forget the 100 he got on a tough wicket at Kottayam. I'm not going to talk about Doc the batsman, because I talked that extensively before. The art of scoring hundreds, how he is to pace his innings, how he is to spend the whole day batting for hours and hours because of the quality he had, which Ari mentioned, that every day when he was out there on the cricket ground, he wanted to maximize it because he knew that he had the talent to become a doctor. Became a doctor, eminent doctor in Hyderabad. But because he took a decision, I'm going to play cricket, he wanted to maximize each and every day he was on a cricket field. And that's why he knew the heart of batting for long hours. But this was in 1994-95 season, the first full season for me for Hyderabad. I played 5 matches, I got 500 runs. We lost the match against Andhra at Vijayawada, and we were all coming back to Hyderabad feeling very disappointed, let down, because Hyderabad cannot lose to Andhra. And I still remember in the bus journey, Doc was having a chat to a lot of youngsters, and after that we stopped at a dhaba where we had dinner, and Doc told me, because he was very impressed with the way I batted in that season. Doc told me that when you're playing for Hyderabad, you're not playing for Hyderabad to get into that Indian team. When you're playing for Hyderabad, you're playing for Hyderabad to win Ranji Trophy for Hyderabad. And that again something which registered in my mind so strongly. Because when we play first class cricket, we always think that we're using your state team as a platform to reach your bigger dream, which is to play for the country and maximize your potential. But Doc, when he played for Hyderabad, never ever thought that through Hyderabad he wanted to play for India. Whenever he played for Hyderabad, his thought process and his feelings was, I have to win matches for Hyderabad. And that he told to me, conveyed to me, because again, a good leader is the one who realizes the potential and who knows who probably his successor would be. He realized very quickly that I had the talent to score heavily and win matches for Hyderabad. But that message from him, I realized more because the following season in 1995, when I first played club cricket, there were 3 or 4 Mumbai guys who were staying in my apartment in Bradford League. And I was just amazed to see how much they loved wearing the Mumbai cap. They were not bothered about playing for India. They were always thinking about winning Ranji Trophy, and they always had the pride of wearing the Mumbai cap. And then I understood what Doc meant. And that's why I'm not surprised that Mumbai has won so many Ranji Trophies compared to Hyderabad. Because each and every player who played for Mumbai didn't really bother about playing for India. They took a lot of pride in winning that Ranji Trophy for the state team. The other thing, the same season I realized the definition of professionalism. Doc mentioned that when I'm out there batting, I have to make that day count, maximize the amount of time I'm spending on the crease. And that's what professional is all about. Because as a professional, in whatever responsibility you get, you always are striving to win matches and do well for your team. So Doc, even though he was a doctor, a qualified doctor, was probably, he had all the characters of a professional cricketer. And that's the reason why he kept on scoring tons and tons of runs when he was out there batting. The leader I talked about, I can never ever forget the banter which used to go in that Hyderabad dressing room, the kind of pranks they used to play on each other, the kind of laughter which used to be there in that Hyderabad dressing room. And I, especially at the start of my career, was very, very focused. I felt that if I have to realize my dream of playing for the country, or if I have to be a successful cricketer, I cannot be distracted. So I used to listen to music, didn't want to get involved in the banter, or probably stay in a corner reading a book, because I thought that if I'm getting involved in that banter, I may lose my focus. But here was someone who probably was the central figure in that banter, used to go out and score hundreds and hundreds. So I asked this question to Doc. So how do you do this? You know, there's so much of distraction when you're out there in the dressing room. There's so much of fun you're having. Usually before going out to bat, you're supposed to be focused. But how do you go and score runs? How do you manage to play those long innings? And one more brilliant advice he gave me is, Laxman, when you're playing the game of cricket or anything you do, you should know the switch on, switch off mechanism. You know when to switch on, you should also know when to switch off. So if I'm switched on, I'm mentally drained. So if I'm mentally drained, how can I focus? How can I have that concentration? So when I switch on, it's only when I cross the rope and I'm going out to bat. But the moment I cross the rope and come into the changing room, I have to totally switch off. One more advice which I try to follow, and that really helped me to play these long innings. So without knowing, he has helped me, not only me, a lot of youngsters with whom I started playing first-class cricket, to maximize or realize their potential. Now as a leader, as a captain, you have to get best out of your bowlers. And Hyderabad, we are very lucky to have 3 great bowlers. 2 of the legendary spinners are here, Kawaljeet Singh and Venkatpati Raju, and there is one fast bowler somewhere standing in fine leg like he always used to feel, NB Singh. And all 3 were tough personalities to handle. But with so much of ease, Doc used to get the best out of them. Because all 3 of them were going through some tough times. At some stages they were frustrated. Some was out of the Indian team when they didn't deserve to be out of the Indian team. A couple of them didn't make it to the Indian team when they deserved to be in the Indian team. And it's very tough for a captain to get the best out of people who are frustrated, who are upset, who are angry, and who have a lot of negative emotions because of the journey of the cricketing life, the way it has unfolded and the way it was going. But he made them realize the importance of winning matches for Hyderabad. He made them realize and got the best out of them by asking the right questions, which Venkat just meant. Nana koncham rendu ball esama, rendu over esi gelichipothe match. In his own style. And all three of them were someone who inspired not only say the generation they played with, I'm sure they will inspire the future generation of Hyderabad cricketers and Indian cricketers. How even though you have not had probably a successful career at international level, how you can maximize your potential and keep working at it. And it was through this leadership quality which Doc had that he got the best out of them. Lastly, a leader is the one who even in his absence continues to inspire people. There were at least 4 or 5 friends of mine who called me before I came here in the last 2-3 days. I believe that Sridhar's book is being released. Can I attend that function? Now that is unbelievable, because this is a generation, or this is a life society we live in, where even if you invite someone, they don't come. And here is a person who unfortunately is not amidst us, but people are calling to be part of this lovely event. And that's the kind of imprint, that's the kind of experiences, that's the kind of influence Doc had on all our lives. And after cricket, everyone knows that he became a corporate leader at Satyam, handles a lot of tough situations for them. He was the media manager for India. He became a cricket administrator. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend too much time with him post his cricketing career. But whenever I used to get time, he was again the center of attraction, like exactly what Neeraj displayed in that audio visual. We used to have a lot of fun. In fact, I was in tears. I asked for tissue papers, because as sports person, we are supposed to be mentally tough. We cannot show our emotions to people. But I was in tears because all the great times, great memories we all shared together, where again Doc used to play that pranks. Doc used to be the center of that attraction, our gathering, center of attraction always. It just came flooding back in my mind, and I was just not able to control my emotion. I'm sure it was a case with everyone here. The last conversation I had in person was in 2017 in England, Champions Trophy. We beat Bangladesh and we were going to London for the finals of the Champions Trophy. And Doc and me traveled together from Birmingham to London, and it was 2.5 hours journey. And one thing which he at least repeatedly told 3 or 4 times was that he had to cut down on his travel because he wanted to spend more time with his family. Because he realized that his daughter was very talented and she was going to Baroda to pursue a career in arts. Son was growing up quickly, he was missing him at home, and Sagarika had to all alone look after the development of both the kids, and he felt for Sagarika. He felt that he was not doing justice to his life partner, and 3 or 4 times he repeated during that conversation or the travel we had from Birmingham to London that he wanted to spend more time with his family because he was so proud of Sagarika. He used to jokingly say, but he was very, very proud, saying that in my cricketing days, I was a professional sports person. I never ran more than 2 rounds at Gymkhana grounds. And she's running marathons. I'm supposed to be the one who's supposed to be fit, but she's supremely fit now. And she's mentally tough because if you have to finish a marathon, you have to look after your diet. I never ever liked looking after my diet. But he was so proud of what Sagarika did, the way she was handling, looking after the family, at the same time doing all the other things which she was passionate about. But unfortunately, we all lost a great leader. So on this day, I think it's important for all of us to celebrate what a remarkable journey Doc had in various roles he played. he excelled in each and every role he played. But at the end of it's taught to us as a cricketer that at the end of your career, no one is going to look at the number of runs you score. No one is looking at the number of hundreds you score, at your statistics. But people will remember what you have done, how you influenced people, how you inspired people. And that was something which was taught to me. So I believe that in a career called life, in a journey called life, at the end of your journey, it's not what you spoke to people, it's not what you have achieved, how much money you have in your bank balance, in your bank, what are the the luxurious thing which you have with you. But at the end of your journey, it's how you made a person feel in your presence, and that is something which will be remembered. And for me, each and every moment I was in Doc's presence, it made me feel very, very special. And I'm sure it's the same for everyone in this room, and whoever has come in presence of Doc must have felt very, very special. And that's why we are all here to celebrate his life. To celebrate his life. Once again, the way I started, I would like to congratulate Auntie for asking Hari to write a book on Doc, because if his story is not told to the world, if it's only known to the people who were in touch with him, I think it's not doing justice to what Doc has done in his life. So I'm sure that through this book, I'm sure Hari must have done justice to Doc's life. Hari must have put in a lot of emotions, as I read in his blog, how emotional a journey it was to write this book. And I'm sure that not only people in this room, not only people who played with Doc or who knew Doc, but everyone who will read that book will be inspired by his life. And that's my wish, that's my prayer to the Almighty, that Doc's life should inspire people, because especially the way this world is at the moment, we require more leaders. And Doc for me was not a prolific run getter. Doc for me was an inspirational leader. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.